is controlled by the state. It's controlled by the state. That is what is known as what? Socialism. And then you can see it's very, very simple. If you have any question that's giving you headache, that's giving you sleepless night, you can contact us through our rolling numbers, through email and WhatsApp address. You can contact us through that. Now, I said socialism may be defined as form of government in which production, distribution and exchange is controlled by the state. We are talking about a country that controls every aspect of its production, distribution and exchange. They are the only person. No individual can partake in this. I said, no individual in the socialist state, no private individual can partake in the production, distribution of goods and services. It is only done by the state alone. Now, let me move to the next one. The fifth one is what? That is number 5. Communism. Before I write the definition number, let me quickly tell you the definition of communism. For better understanding, communism comes from socialism, my dear students. Communism comes from what? Socialism. They polished communism to become, they polished socialism to become communism. Are you with me? They metamorphose from socialism to what? To become communism. They discard socialism to become communism. That is, this one was done in 1848 by Karl Marx and Lenin. They are professors. They are professors in law. They are the one that now metamorphose socialism to communism. I will repeat the name of the person. By Karl Marx in 1848 and Lenin. Communism may be defined as a form of government in which the production, distribution, and exchange is totally in the control of the state. That is, they see loopholes in socialism. That some certain people are still involved in production in certain way. So they want it to be fully concentrated, to be in the hand of the state government alone. That's why they now discuss socialism to become communism. I said communism may be defined as form of government in which production, production, distribution, and exchange. And exchange is strongly in the hand of the state. In the hand of the state. That is, it is the state that controls everything. They give you whatever you want according to your needs. Everything that you want in life is being provided for by the government in this state. So you just work for the state, and state give you what you need. Then, from that, I will want to move to the next one. I said we are still under the form of government, I'm talking about totalitarianism. That is number 6. Totalitarianism. That is number 6. I call it totalitarianism as a form of government. What is the meaning of totalitarianism? Totalitarianism may be defined as a form of government in which only one political party is allowed to exist, and there's no opposition. And there's no what? No opposition. Opposition government is not allowed in a state where they are practicing totalitarianism. I will define it again. Totalitarianism may be defined as a form of government in which only one political party is allowed to exist, and the system does not allow for official opposition. My dear student, you know where opposition is not allowed, that government will return to a dictatorship. Will return to a dictator. Are you with me now? The government will return to a dictator. Your opposition is not allowed. Only one political party is allowed to exist in that country. Now let me write it on board. Totalitarianism may be defined as a system in which only one political party is allowed to exist, and opposition is not allowed. Not allowed. I said totalitarianism is a system in which the only one political party is allowed to exist and no opposition. My dear students, let me now move forward to number 7, which is known as fascism. Fascism is also one of the form of governments operates by a country. What do I mean by fascism? Fascism is a very simple one. They are maybe related to totalitarianism, because in fascism the government makes use of force to control the people. They use whatever they have to control the people. They force the people in this system of fascism. That is, it is a form of government in which the state make use of force to control the people. That is, in a country where they adopt fascism, they use force to control the people. Wherever you see a country that is using force to control the people, we call that system fascism. The last one, under the form of government, which I will want to mention to you, which is number 8, is known as what? We call it federalism. We call it federalism. That is number 8. Federalism. You might be asked in any examination. You might be asked in any examination. You might be asked in any examination, what is the oldest form of government that we have? Among all these I've mentioned, what is the oldest form of government? The oldest form of government, my student, is known as what? Federalism. Whenever you see that question, the oldest form of government is known as what? Federalism. Out of all form of government that we have, is the oldest. Because it has been practiced before calendar days. It has been practiced during our forefathers. Federalism as the oldest form of government as the oldest form of government as the oldest form of government simply means as the federalism as the oldest form of government deal with land ownership. It deals with what? Land ownership. You see, gone are the days before technology. We deal with farming, and farming deal with the use of land. So during the AD, we have king. King is the owner of the land. Then, as a people, you will come to the king. When you come to the king, you are not as fasa. You come to the king for land. You beg for land from the king. King is the owner of the land. When you come as a fasa to the king, you ask for land. And when the king gives you land for farming purposes, you have become the fasa to the king. You have become what? Fasa to the king. Are you with me now? When you come, because you don't have land for farming, and you need land for farming, you go to the king that is the owner of the land. Then when the king now gives you a plot of land for farming, you become fasa to the king. That is when the war breaks out, when the wage war against the king, you are one of the security that will defend the king. So you are a fasa to the king. Then there are some certain portion of your farming that you give to the king because he gives you freely to operate. Then from what I've been telling you under the form of government, I believe you understand it perfectly. Perfectly, from democracy to oligarchy, from oligarchy to capitalism, from capitalism to socialism, from socialism to communism, from communism to totalitarianism, from totalitarianism to fascism, from fascism to what? Federalism. That is all you're supposed to know concerning the forms of government. I want to move to the next topic. Now, I will want to use this opportunity to tell you again, if you have any questions that is bothering your mind concerning government, you can contact us through our numbers, phone numbers, through our WhatsApp, through our email address. So you will contact us, no problem. Then, I want to talk about organs of government. I want to talk about organs of government. By saying organs of government will give some student problem. What is the meaning of organs of government? And organs of government may be defined as the structural division of governmental power into different stages. I will repeat myself. Organs of government may be defined as the structural division of governmental power into different stages. When you say that, your marker will be laughing at you. This is a government student. Now, let me write it on board. Organs of government may be defined as the structural division of governmental power into different stages. You see, when you ask the definition of organs of government in your exam, it's very, very simple. It simply means the division of governmental power into different stages. And how does government power has been divided? It is known as organs of government. Now let us now move to the organs of government itself. The organs of the government is divided into three. I will repeat myself. The organs of government is divided into three. The first one we call it what? Legislature. Some people don't call it organs. In some questions you might not see it as organs of government. They might tell you arms of government. Arms and organs of government, they mean the same thing. Don't be confused. When you see it in your question, arms of government, it simply means organs of government. Are you with me? We have legislature too. As an organs of government, we have executive. Then the three is judiciary. The third one is what? Judiciary. From the definitions of organs of government, I said it's being divided into different stages. All these are the stages that the power of government is being divided into. Are you with me? Now, let me start from the first one, legislature. You can see, the first one, you can see legislature, they are law-making body. They are the body that make law. Why the executive? I will repeat myself. Only the primary functions of every executive in a state is to make what? To make law. Understand that? Then, this one also performs different functions. The executive. The executive implement government policy. If you don't want to say in that way, you can say the executive execute the law. That is, the executive execute law. While judiciary interpret law, you can see they perform different functions. This one make law, this one execute law, this one what? Interpret law. Now, let me now state it one after the other. Let me start by writing legislature. Because you might be asked in your exam the meaning of legislature. Are you with me now? The meaning of legislature, it just simply means that responsible for lawmaking. I told you they are lawmaking body. There's just as an arm of government that are responsible for lawmaking. Are you with me now? We have the examples of legislature. What are the examples of legislature? The first one we have examples of legislature. We have state assembly. We have House of Representatives, House of Assembly rather. It is House of Assembly. We have House of Representatives. And House of Senate. We have, when you are asked the example of legislature, we have House of Assembly that make law at state level. For example, in Nigeria now, we have Ondo State, we have Oyo State, Osun State, Lagos State, and so on and so forth. Each state must have House of Assembly that will be making law for the people of that state only. Then at federal level, we have House of Representatives and House of Senate at federal level. If you go to America, they have Senate and they have House of Representatives. If you go to Britain, they have, what do you call it? They have House of Lords and House of Commons as the body making law for them. But in Nigeria here, we have House of Assembly, House of Representatives, and House of Senate. Now, let me quickly now move to the type of legislation. Type of legislation. Types of legislation. You only have two types of legislation. We have, number one, we have unicameral. We have unicameral legislature. The second one is known as what? Bicameral legislature. I said in your exam, whenever you're asked the type of legislature, we are talking about unicameral legislature and bicameral legislature. Let me define both of them for you. The meaning of unicameral legislature. Unicameral legislature unicameral legislature may be defined as a system defined as a system in which only one legislative only one legislative chamber or house is allowed to operate in a state.